Hello there and welcome to my boat shed again. My name is Panu and I am building this 15 meter or 50-foot liveaboard cruising sailboat here in Finland. If you're new to the channel, a quick recap might be a good idea. So this 15 meter or approximately 50 foot boat is gonna have two freestanding masts, double keels, a deck house and all kinds of kind of small little special features that are combined in a one design. And it is wood epoxy construction. We have these quite massive frames already installed. We have side decks in, we have a keel timber almost done, double keel timbers over there. We have a stem on place and we have a rudder placement over there and all kinds of structures. And that is pretty different from a kind of traditional method of making wood epoxy construction, because most of the time you just make the temporary frames, you build the hull over that, you turn it around and start putting structures in. So we have done things a little bit differently here. One addition is that almost everything you can see here has been made in way or another with my self-built CNC machine. So kind of digital construction here as well. But this video is all about doing the final stretch before we start the planking. And that planking will start in next video. I promise that you. Anyway, there has been quite many small projects we need to finish before we do that. So let's go through piece by piece what has been done in the last few weeks. First of all, the keel timber. As you may remember, a few videos back we started making the actual keel timber, which is the beam across the middle here. And in traditional way, it is actually two beams in one. There's a keelson, which is the inside part of the keel, and then there's the actual keel timber, that is the exterior part. In many cases, the middle is kind of a smaller section, but I didn't want any kind of small cavities on the bilge, so this is actually one big beam. It adds weight, but it's all right. This is a big boat, and yeah, I want to have the structure. Anyway, there has now been several sessions gluing the keel timber, and it's not ready just yet. If you look at there, we have now done the next layer for that. And we have now two layers of cross section there, and that is just to prevent the splitting of the keel timber over time if any moisture levels or something makes a difference there. So this still needs to be sanded, and there's rest of the layers waiting over there. The reason I haven't gone any further with that is just basically because I don't have to do that just yet, and I have been so busy with all other things. But I will do that maybe off camera, maybe do some time lapses later. But in last few weeks I have laminated this, and I have prepped and laminated that next one as well. And that is fully cured, and yeah, just sanding and laminating next sessions. And the temperature here is around 20 degrees. It has been last month or so. And that really brings down the fact that I only have the fast hardener for the epoxy, and 2 layers is maximum I can do in reasonable time before it starts to get so thick and sticky that I can't clamp it down anymore. So 2 layers is the maximum I can do. But yeah, it's just what it is. I will do that in coming weeks. And actually, I almost forgot, we also installed some additional pieces in here while we were laminating the pieces for the keel timber, and this now has been glued totally in, and I just need to shape that. Other side is still waiting. No hurry with this, and still need to do kind of the final shaping of the frames here in the bottom part of the boat, but there's plenty of time to do that before the planking kind of reaches this region. Then we have these things. So these are the cleat mounting points, and a couple of videos back we did the first one of these, and after that I kind of had a few days just manufacturing them. So I did all of them at the same time, made all the parts for them, I cut the hole for them and kind of figure out all of them at the same time. Week or two back we laminated and glued all of them together in one session with Kimmo, who has been helping me here every now and then. And that was a massive milestone to get them all done. And since that, this side of the boat has already been shaped. So you can see the final shape here. It has now cut and shaped and sanded with the shape of the actual hull, so the planking will go here. And there was a few comments in that video that is it strong enough? And I was a little bit hesitating. Well, I think it is, but now when I see it and I feel that, and I know that there gonna be planking on this side as well, that's gonna be here in the middle. So that is not gonna go ever anywhere from there. So that is super, super solid, and I'm really pleased how that came out. And they are now all done. That other side is still waiting to be shaped, but I already have planed it. I need to just grab my sander. And about the sander, I have now destroyed one additional tool. The sander roller kind of misbehaved for me a little bit, so yeah, I needed to buy another sander, but yeah, using very aggressive sandpaper, it's not a really big deal to sand these shapes. And in addition to these, I have already shaped now these as well. So these pieces here, they are the placements for the stanchion post. So there is something to grab from the top when we do the stanchions. I don't know yet how I'm gonna do the stanchions, but at least there is a block of wood kind of backing the stanchion loads there. So they are all done as well. And now when we are here, actually I have already sanded now these frames as well. So all the shape approximately to this level is done all the way here. And this side is now completely ready to accept the planking. And I actually did a couple of tests with the planking stock, kind of feeling how it behaves and goes in here, and it feels very, very good. So really pleased how this has been turned out. And then the final thing after shaping these was to fiberglass the rest of these gaps. So as you may remember, we have done fiberglassing in these gaps, and that's just because I want to protect this area very well. This area between this beam and the actual hull is gonna be a little bit of a cavity, or obviously other way around, but still there is really no access in this area anymore when we do the planking. So I wanted to protect this as well as I could. And actually last night, just yesterday, I sanded all these edges again here to accept the planking and the small radius I want to do with thickened epoxy in there to really glue the planking well on all of this. And that's gonna be down here or up here, and nobody's ever going to see that. So the quality really doesn't matter. But one thing I want to say is that I have mentioned before that I really don't like fiberglass very much. I haven't really worked with that a lot, but I think it was Steven, according to Arabella, that explained 3 levels of fun. First level is fun to do and fun to remember. Second level of fun is not fun to do, but fun to remember. And third level of fun is the not fun to do and really not fun to remember either. And I assure you, sanding fiberglass is the third level of fun. Yeah, I'm still itchy from yesterday. I know these working trousers are itchy, and yeah, it's not fun. So I'm kind of considering still if I'm gonna do the fiberglassing inside the boat at all, but we'll see about that. I think plywood in general really needs fiberglass because it tends to crack over time, even if there's a paint or something on top of that. But we'll see about that. But anyway, now this side, as mentioned, is now completely done, including the fiberglassing, except for this very last section here. I did the fiberglassing, but this part right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of lacks a little bit of material, and that's because when I did these side walls for these decks, I made kind of optimization with the CNC, and I thought that I was measuring them correctly, but yeah, it lacked a couple of centimeters here in the back because it's higher here than the front. It's still kind of gradually growing in here because the deck is going lower to the back. So yeah, I kind of messed up filling this completely, and there was a lot of air bubbles in the fiberglass. So I'm gonna do this again maybe today and kind of put just fiberglass tape over this and consider it done. The problem with this was also the fast hardener. It kind of made the epoxy too sticky too soon, and it was really hard to work out the air bubbles in here when the epoxy was really sticky. It kind of sticks to the roller and the all tools, and yeah, it was quite hard. The quality of this isn't very good, but as I mentioned, nobody's gonna see this ever again, except for you, of course, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result so far, and the only thing that this fiberglass needs to do is to protect it from moisture, and I think it's gonna do that pretty well. And as for the boat, it obviously has two sides, unfortunately. So this side is still under work. I have already planed the basic shape, but I still need to get the sander and sand all these and put the fiberglass on this side as well. The cleat mountings are glued in on this side as well, so they are basically ready. But yeah, I'm gonna start with the planking on that other side. And if you are kind of concerned if the boat is gonna be asymmetrical with the planking on the one side only, I can assure you this method with these frames, it's not gonna go anywhere even if I do the planking just for the other side first. So no worries there. But yeah, I will do this maybe just off camera. There's really not much to see when I'm sanding, even though sanding is all glorious. Then there has been a couple of things happening to prepare the actual planking project. First was of course made the actual planking material. We planed it a few weeks back and now it has been transferred here, and that involves maybe 3/4 of the material we need. So that stock was what we had that day and the rest of that is coming later. We don't really need to hurry with that because there's plenty of material to start the planking. But second thing I did was to order more epoxy. I have now used approximately maybe 180 kilos of epoxy in this overall project, including all the frames and gluing all the fiberglass and stuff. At least what I counted with the empty cans I have. But we're gonna need a lot more for the planking and also for rest of the stuff. So now I ordered a barrel full of epoxy, and this is a different brand. This is actually Sika epoxy. It should be bio-based resin as well. But yeah, it was a little bit cheaper to buy as a big barrel like this. And I kind of hope that this barrel would be enough to finish the boat. If you have been following run sailing, for example, they have used 500 kilos or more epoxy. I don't really know, but several barrels like this. But my project is drastically different from theirs because they are using more fiberglass, laminations, thick layers fiberglass, and fiberglass goes 1-to-1 with epoxy approximately. So this boat will have much less fiberglass. We're gonna have most of the fibers as wood, and we're just gonna glue those woods together with the epoxy. So a lot less epoxy going in this boat. I really hope that this epoxy will last for the rest of the boat, but we'll see about that. You can always buy more, but yeah, it's pretty expensive, but nothing really too dramatic in this scale at least. But I'm happy that it's in here, and I still need to kind of figure out the mixing of this and using the barrel and stuff. And finally, this week I fired up the CNC. You can see back there again. I actually realized that I haven't used it since November or something, so over 6 months, but it still works flawlessly. So I'm super happy with that machine. If you haven't seen the videos of building that, they are several years old already, so I hope I've been getting better making these videos since then. But yeah, it involves several videos of how I built that machine. It was a really fun project, and yeah, it has been working so well, and I'm super pleased with that. But what I did was these things, and these are for clamping the boards when I'm installing them. So actually, let's go there and take a look. So as you saw in previous video, we did these planks with the bed and cove. Yeah, bed and cove. and they go together like this, and they allow the planks to be aligned with the hull, like that. But as I tested the fit, they are pretty thick and quite stiff as well. So putting them down one by one by myself isn't really that easy to get the groove in the first place to kind of push them together. So I did these, and these should help me to kind of put it where it needs to go, something like that, and it kind of locks them in place before I screw them in. So this way I can just put these in and bend them over the boat, and it should stay put there before I put the screw in. So these are for that, and I hope these work well, and they seem to be quite good. Yeah, and making these without CNC would have been quite a lot of work, but now it just was a few minutes of CAD work, and yeah, CNC for the win. And that said, this side from bottom to approximately this height is now almost completely ready to accept the first planks. I'm super pleased with that. What I still need to do is, in addition to putting one small batch of fiberglass back there, is to put these temporary frames here. So as you can see, we have the temporary frame there, but this bottom section is still missing. And I want to have these in here because there is quite a long gap between the frames in some spots, like this one in here. It's over a meter. And I wasn't able to put these in before I had the fiberglassing done there. And we started the keel timber on top there, and this needed to be over there before that. So yeah, now the fiberglassing is done, I can install these. And about these temporary frames, I'm not really sure if they're necessary. Maybe they're on the back where is quite a long gap between the frames, but here I don't really think they are that necessary. And I also should have planned them a little bit better. They're a little bit flimsy, and the plywood tends to be a little bit kind of all over the place. But I think I'm gonna put the first planks here on the bottom. We have plenty of mounting points there with all the cleat mounts and stuff, and then I'm gonna attach these on the right spot in those planking spots where I can remove the fastener later. So we'll see if they are any good, but at least they are here, and I need to put a couple of them still there, but that's just a few minutes of work to put them in, and then we are ready to start the planking. And as for the planking, I still want to try this out before I start. This is a finger joint, not a router. There was some name for machines like this. I have that multi-tool machine that uses these kind of blades, and I'm super terrified of this, of course, but I still want to try this to make finger joints for the planks, because it would make it so much faster and so much more efficient if I could just do finger joints in the planking so that they fit together perfectly, and nothing more than putting some epoxy in the gap. Looking forward to this. This will be in the next video. And to this little teaser, I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you join me next time when we start the planking. It might be a couple of weeks until I get the video done. Because I'm going to a sailing trip later next week. It is summer after all, and I want to enjoy it at least a little bit. So yeah, this looks super nice. We'll see you in the next video in a few weeks, and I hope to see you all back then. And if you want to join planking parties later this summer, please put comment down below or in this email address a message for me, and I try to organize something to involve a little bit more people to come here and help with this massive task of making these. But I will start with a couple of flanks just by myself to figure out the process first, but we'll get back into that later. Now have a really nice summer, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. Bye bye!